fuck old people. That's what I say.
Hello and welcome to episode number 72 of Unrelenting, June 9th, 2023. I am Darren O'Neill. He is Gene Nevduliev of the Spaceship.
Let me ask you a question.
Nevdulievs. Yeah, you can't even let me say hello before you're interrupting. What kind of show is this?
You're kind of dragging a little bit here, but what's the point of announcing the episode number in the episode?
Because people are listening live, and that way if they get confused, why does Adam Curry do it? Ask him.
Well, I know there's a purpose for commercial shows, right? Because you're selling ads, but we don't sell ads.
They don't sell ads on No Agenda.
Well, I think he does it out of habit, I would imagine. But
it seems to be a podcast.
I'd be happy to ask him the same exact question I'm asking you right now, which is, if I'm a listener to this show or any other show, and the first thing they do is like, hey, welcome to the thing you just clicked on, which you clicked on because you wouldn't have clicked on it if you didn't know what it was.
Sir Bemrose brings up a good point. I mean, people may be catching up on a show. They may be listening to this episode in November.
Right.
And this will give them context about when this was recorded. So if we talk about things that are maybe topical to the day, they know.
So do we announce the day of the recording, or we just announce the number of the show?
We do both. Well, most people do both. We don't have to.
I mean, do we say this is June 19th, 2026?
9th and the 23rd, but you're close.
I'm close.
The lack of sleep may be catching up to you.
I mean, I might have slept for a couple of years, I guess.
You could have Rick Van Winkled yourself. You never know.
Yeah.
There was while looking for things to watch, as I do, I'm always looking for new shows. And there was one, I forget where, I think it was on one of these streaming services that are so popular today with the kids that the concept is a airline flight leaves.
Yeah.
For everybody on board, it seems like a fairly normal flight. There's a little turbulence. They land. And when they land, they find out that they're actually 5 years later. Somehow the plane has gone in through some temporal
I like stories
thing.
like this.
You what?
I like stories like that.
And it's an interesting concept, right? Because you're like, okay, how are you going to take it? And the reviews I saw, people were like, oh, well, we were hoping it would be more of like personal stories. This is more like Lost in Reverse. But it's an interesting concept because you're putting people into weird areas.
Are you talking about Twilight Zone?
Well, the Twilight Zone is another show, yeah.
I like
Rod Serling. You're familiar with Lost, right? It was big, like, 15 years ago?
I've never watched it. I'm familiar with it, but it was another one of those shows, sort of like House, where I thought, I don't like ads. I'm going to wait till this thing's done and over with, and then I can just watch the whole thing.
And you're also like, way too many people are talking about it, so it probably sucks.
Well, that may be the case. But either way, it seemed like the subject matter was interesting, but I didn't want to get in the habit of watching something that has ads in it on a weekly basis.
Well, there were DVRs even back then.
I had those, but it's just too much work.
Pressing the button to skip the 30-second commercial. No, don't. You can't be asking me to push no buttons. I'm Gene.
I like the way I watch House is I push one button and then 4 hours later I push another button to turn it off.
Right after 5 episodes have completed.
Yeah, exactly.
Just going and going and going. I never made it to the end of Lost. I don't remember if I only made it through one season.
Yeah, it was purgatory.
Oh, that would make sense.
I mean, for a guy who hasn't watched the thing, I just gave you a big old spoiler for it.
Like, spoilers, everybody, if you wanted to watch that show. If you've been waiting to watch Lost for the last 15 years, then
I know.
Just ruined everything.
I've also been on the balloon.
On the balloon?
Yeah, from Lost.
Oh, I don't remember a balloon.
Yeah, there was a balloon that landed on the island. That was
It seemed like it was Gilligan's Island just brought into a different time.
A little bit, with a little bit of magic thrown in.
But I thought that was an interesting concept, whether I'll watch the series or not. It's the most interesting because you realize anybody that was traveling without their spouse, they've all moved on after 5 years.
Well, that's the lesson certainly that Castaway taught us.
Yeah. Well, there is nothing
Saddest
new
movie ever made,
which is why we have AI now writing everything, because there's nothing new. They're all just regurgitated ideas.
Well, we've kind of had manatees writing things for a long time, so I can't imagine the AI is going to be any worse.
You could just put the manatees in a room. I thought it was a bunch of monkeys. They say if you let them pound on enough keyboards, sooner or later they'll write some Shakespeare.
Still haven't gotten to that yet, apparently.
No. Well, you still have to teach them English.
Working on, yeah, exactly. But you saw that South Park episode where they go to Hollywood and they see that The Simpsons is written by manatees.
I believe so. South Park is another one.
And that was Simpsons. It was Family Guy was written by manatees.
South Park. Yeah.
On South Park, they had a series of episodes dealing with the boys going to Hollywood and finding out that the show Family Guy is written by manatees.
No, I don't know if you're just continually fucking with me, because you continually seem to get quieter now as we've talked for the last few minutes.
I think maybe your system is just cooling off.
Are you falling asleep? Could be. I did just update the video driver, so that could have a grave effect.
Video killed the audio star, so
that's true. But the South Park, aren't they only on like Paramount Plus or something now?
These days, they're
lost
still
track of
on
them.
HBO for the next 6 months ish. And then they'll be like all their new shit is on Paramount. All the old shit is on HBO for now, but that's leaving.
But it's another one of those shows where after like, I think 12 or 13, 14, 15 years, I was like, I've seen it. It's still entertaining, but
South Park?
Yeah.
No. When they come out with an episode, it literally deals with the topic from the previous week.
I know, but you've been there, done that. It's a show that's gone on, although it's the animated shows that go on forever, and I get it because the actors don't age. Right.
Yeah, right. Mila Kunis, I was just watching, talking about her character.
With AI now, the characters never have to age. I'm waiting for an AI that will do that with real life characters, that will just lock them in on the very first season, and then no matter how long the seasons go, they just never change.
His whole image to. Was it Tom Hanks or somebody else?
Well, Tom Hanks said he's going to definitely be in movies after he dies, which is weird.
Right. He's a hardworking man. He's been working in Hollywood for 60 years now.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for taking the money.
Watching, what was that show called?
Bosom Buddies.
That's the one. Yeah, about the pretending to be gay guys.
Right. See, you can't make that today. Two guys pretending to be women.
Believe it.
Uh-huh. But that was groundbreaking at the time.
It really was. Yeah. And you're like, are they really gay? Or can they kind of look like they might be?
And the hilarity ensued as they pretended to be women.
Yes. Kind of like Three's Company. Gotta love those shows that pretended to be gay.
Yeah. Well, and because it was being looked at as a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having that conversation the other day, just thinking back to junior high.
Mm-hmm.
Which for me was like 1983, 1984. And that was the biggest cut down that I can remember at that time was, oh, you're gay or you're a fag.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I can guarantee you that 99% of the kids using those terms had no idea what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the main thing at that point. And I would have to go along and blame that was because of a lot of the entertainment. There is something to be said for how entertainment, without a doubt, has an effect on the society that watches it or consumes it in whatever way.
Well, the irony is a lot of the Hollywood male actors actually were.
Right. Oh, that I was brought that up on a recent episode of Random Thoughts, how somebody was going back on all of the sitcoms that were problematic now. And one of them was Frasier because of a lot of latent homosexual jokes. And I'm like, well, half the cast of Frasier was gay.
Yeah.
So if you're going to blame anybody.
And they're not really latent, are they?
No, I don't. Well, it seems John Mahoney was, from what I understand. I don't follow people's personal lives.
No.
Almost at all.
Right.
But it was after he died, everybody seemed to know, or there were stories, but it seemed while he was alive, it wasn't a well-known thing.
Oh. Yeah, but it's still not latent. I mean, or maybe is this another Gene doesn't know what a word means? My understanding of latent homosexual meant that it was something where they didn't participate in that type of activity in their youth.
In their youth?
In their youth. And then as they got older, they decided that, gee, oh boy, I guess I'm going to be one of these people.
I guess I'm going to be one of these people.
I mean, it's weird because you've certainly being our age, you've heard plenty of people over the years saying, homosexuality is not a choice. It's something you're born into. Kind of like being a circus performer. And then other people certainly seem to make a choice out of it. So I
nothing that I pay too much attention to.
What was Rock Hudson? Was he a latent homosexual or a regular homosexual?
Well, I would say a latent because isn't it? Here, let me look it up here.
Yes, that's the topic for the show, guys. Welcome to the Unrelenting.
Latent as defined of a quality or a state existing but not yet developed or manifest or hidden or concealed. So if you're gay,
so he was a latent homosexual.
Yes, and you're
definitely
not
concealing it.
Yes, if you're not out there telling everybody you are, then you are latent. Like Sir Bemrose, a latent podcaster. He almost tells nobody about his shows.
Right. Well, he's a smart man in that sense.
Because why do you want more people to come listen? Then they'll only tell you you're using words incorrectly.
Whereas CSB is telling everybody that can possibly hear.
Yes, my brother Gene, my Slovak brother, come listen to CSP.lols.
.lols?
.lols. That's CSP.lol. It's his website with all of his very randy cartoons that you can now
I've seen some cartoons in there. I've gone there a few times.
Now you can just create them though by telling Adobe what you want and it just pops up. I've been playing with that thing. It is the most bizarre bit of technology that's come out in a long time. For a variety of different reasons. I just saw an ad from Adobe that sorry to interrupt you there, but it looked like they have a new app that it basically creates 30-second videos almost automatically for you. Out of what though? What is the what do you have to
Adobe
feed it?
Stock and voiceover, and it's basically like little meme videos. You
Interesting.
Tell it what you want.
See, I can believe that because they're pushing their AI product, and the AI product, which I think online, if you want to try it out, there's something called Firefly, and that is the technology that is now where that's fairly limited. The full Monty version of that has been thrown into Adobe Photoshop, at least the beta version as of now. And you can go in and just select, you can create a, square if you want to do your little memes or album artwork for podcasts and that, or, you can do a widescreen kind of whatever you want. Start out with the canvas you want. You can select like the bottom half and be like, oh, grassy area, and then select the top half and say, mountains with snow. And it just creates the stuff out of nothing.
Well, I'm sure copyright holders will say it's not quite out of nothing.
Well, see, that's where Photoshop and their version's a little bit different because according to Adobe, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But Adobe is saying everything that they've used to teach their system has been open source, has been no copyright, has been completely not royalty free, but completely copyright free in the public domain. So they are standing behind it for people that are paying for their business portion.
So they can't reproduce anything that looks newer than the 1950s.
I think there's a lot out there that is newer than 1950 because there are photographers in that will take photographs and release them into the public domain.
Not really, not as many as you'd think, because just because you put a photo up online doesn't make it public domain.
No, but there are people that will say, I don't want any rights to this. I don't know why.
But there's a tiny percentage of people that do that. Most people just say nothing.
It's also possible that Adobe has enough people working for them and photographers working for them that are part of their deal that they have the rights to use that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need them working for them. They just need to get licenses.
The concept, though, is they're so sure of this that if you're on their business plan, there was an article today where if you get sued for copyright infringement after using this, Adobe will pay for your legal. They will cover your legal.
So then they can offer that knowing full well that companies that would sue an individual would never sue Adobe.
Right. That are going like, okay, I don't want to.
Because the first thing that happens when you sue Adobe is you lose all your Adobe licenses.
Well, even without that, it's not going to be I'm going to roll over and just pay you, because this is like the RIAA stuff in the past where it's like, well, we have a fine here of $10 million for you, but if you give us $36 today,
right, exactly,
we'll call it even.
Exactly.
And most people not going, well, I don't want to have to go get a lawyer, all that, they just do it. But you're right. If you have Adobe behind you, that keeps that from happening.
Yeah.
But it's very weird.
It's kind of like having divorce insurance.
Now, see, this is something you might have needed in the past.
No, I had divorce insurance.
Okay, who do you buy this from? It's not State Farm. Is there a...
I'm not even sure. I can't remember off the top of my head because this was a benefit of the company that I was employed by.
Wait, so this is a perk of going to work for a company like, hey, well, you're going to be out. You're going to be out a lot with the guys at the strip clubs and that, and your wife's probably not going to like it.
And when I was getting divorced, I had 3 other guys that were working for me getting divorced at the same time.
So that working at this company may have had some bearing on that.
It's totally random. It just so happened to be the case that everybody seemed to be getting divorced at the same time, I guess.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, he's getting divorced. Why can't I get divorced?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
He looks like he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's I talk about this in my book. It's a very interesting benefit that it seems like it's not really all that useful until it is.
Which book do you talk about this? And you have multiple books.
I do. I think I talk about it in my latest book with the yellow cover.
The latest book with the yellow cover. People are going to they're going to find that quite easily on Amazon by typing in Sir G's latest book with the yellow cover.
Hey, when we get that book to start paying us to promote it on the podcast, then we'll mention the ISBN.
Well, technically,
they can just
doesn't
look for a yellow book.
Time somebody buy the book, pay you. So wouldn't that be kind of the concept of writing a book?
Not right now. Amazon gets 100% of the money, so I don't need to give them any more. Yeah. I've got the book right now, and it's set to it. Normally, I have it for $20, where I would totally make money. But right now, because of a deal I made with another organization, I'm actually selling the book for the cheapest price that you can set it to on Amazon. And at that price, I make $0.
So it was kind of like the ponchos where you're losing money.
Well, as you mentioned, it's better than the ponchos because I'm not actually losing money on these. I'm just giving them away for free.
I'm breaking even, man.
I've learned my lesson a little bit. I don't go upside down anymore.
You're moving in the right direction. You're breaking even.
Someday I'll actually make a buck.
Why would you want to do that? Ruin the whole...
God.
Yeah, you're going to ruin your whole system.
I know. So I had the air conditioning guy out here yesterday.
Well, how hard can that be? You only leave it at 80 degrees.
I know, right? So it was a proactive call.
Well, that's good. You want to get the condenser coils
I've
cleaned.
had a couple times where, like it's the middle of summer and it's not 80 anymore. It's like 85 degrees in the house.
And you notice that.
And you notice that. And then the snake's happy. I'm not. And so this year I thought, okay, I'm going to call him ahead of time before it's actually that hot outside and make sure everything's copacetic. That's a fancy word for all you kids. And so the guy came out and, it's funny too, because he was trying to adjust the thermostats. And he's like, hey, this thing doesn't seem to be, it's like going back to a different setting. I'm like, yeah, they're all computer controlled. What do you want the temperature at? I'll set it. Let me know what you want. Just because there's a thermostat in the wall doesn't mean you can start pushing buttons.
Fancy. Yeah, no, the big brother, the cloud tells you what it can be.
The Austin Energy tells you what to do, mostly. So that's our local power company here. So he went and checked everything. And I told him, it kind of seems to me like might need to replace a capacitor on this thing based on the way that it's running. And sure enough, turned out to be the case that he said, yep, you're right. You need to get the cap replaced.
Well, the minute you tell them anything, even if they don't have to do it, they're going to be like,
he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, guy just authorized me to replace the cap.
Yep.
Don't even need to test it at this point.
Nope.
Yeah, bad cap. Good call. Good call, sir. You're really smart there. You just figured it out all by yourself. Man, I mean, I didn't even have to do much. I just tell me what else is wrong.
Right. Exactly.
I'll get it replaced for you.
Tell me what else I can bill you
burst
for.
My bubble here, man. I was thinking as I was like, hey, I know something about air conditioners. Turns out, nah, I'm just gullible.
Maybe, or maybe both. You don't know. It's hard to find a good guy that's not going to take advantage of you when it comes down to a lot of these, cars and all the mechanical stuff if you don't know about it.
Right.
So that would be the other way.
Just tell them, look, start by replacing the headlight fluid because I know it feels like the lights are a little dimmer for some reason.
Yeah, you want to be brighter.
And then they go from there.
They're like, maybe you should just clean your headlights off, sir. They're a little muddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
no. They don't do that. No, they replace the headlight fluid right away.
Gotta be. You got to keep that stuff topped right up.
Yep.
Got to keep it topped up. I know they've started closing the roads.
Those filters on the headlights.
Uh-huh. They started closing the roads for the big NASCAR race here. See how fun that's going to be.
That's right. When does that start officially?
The dates are July 1st and 2nd for the two races.
And what channel is that going to be broadcasted over? ESPN or something else?
I think by that point they're switching over now. NASCAR's weird because Fox owns the first half of the season and NBC owns the second. I think it's an NBC race. They switch.
So it'll be, I'm sure clips will be popping up for free on YouTube.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
We'll see how many people NASCAR.
Especially with all the people running across the track during the race.
Like, well, yeah, I got to get over there.
Mm-hmm.
What are these barriers here for?
I'm looking forward to that.
And I'm telling you, I don't know if the idea of them muffling the cars is a good idea because you may want people to be able to hear you from like 5 miles away if they're going to start running on the track.
No, they haven't started allowing electrics yet, have they?
No. No, but they're saying they want to get to that by like...
Yeah, I saw a blurb about that.
Sooner than you would think humanly possible.
I thought it was already like this year, but apparently not.
No, they want to start testing some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll get to that.
Yeah, I think they totally will because that's actually electric is a much better application for this type of racing because the cars are really light, which means that the batteries don't need to be heavy or big at all either.
Well, for the open wheel stuff, the cars can be fairly light. The NASCAR vehicles are not light.
I thought they just had the fake bodies in them.
No, these things are still like 3,000 pounds.
No, are they really? I thought they were like 1,500 pounds.
They're heavy. They are heavy, especially with this new Generation 7, which is the concept that nobody has different stuff. You have to buy all the parts from NASCAR.
Well, that's not really NASCAR then, is it?
It's a lot different than it used to be.
Wasn't the definition of NASCAR is that it's a production vehicle from a real car company?
Well, that was gone a long time ago. They moved into, okay, we have to kind of have a body that looks like the car that's being produced. They started out as literally taking the stock cars and putting some safety gear in.
It was a stock car with a roll cage.
Right.
A new engine and exhaust. That was basically it.
Not after a while. And now, basically, they're giving you most of the parts, and all you can really do is, make minor adjustments, which puts the competition at a much closer clip. It's not like somebody's in a car that's going to go 200 miles an hour and somebody's in one that's going to go 100.
Mm-hmm. So
for that part, I get it. I get it for keeping the costs down because part of what really made NASCAR expensive was the innovation. Because these teams, in order to win and they could dominate, well, if they came up with a better way to make whatever part, then they were going to have an advantage.
I haven't really watched NASCAR since the olden days. I remember watching Richard Petty and Jeff Gordon, the guys back then. Dale Earnhardt, obviously.
The current weight without driver or fuel, 3,200 pounds.
Damn, that is double the weight I would have expected.
Now, for the electric vehicles, you're right. You're going to have to make those. It's going to be a car with a very thin roll cage around where you'll be able to throw a skin around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the electric is working really well for some open wheel series.
Yeah.
And they'll get to it with NASCAR, but it's going to be a big question on how the fans react, because it's going to be a massive change, because a big part of the fun of going to a NASCAR race was being able to be anywhere near one of these cars when they went by or fired up.
Yeah. Well, I think the electric ones sound a lot more like NASCAR, or sorry, like Formula One.
Or it's like it's like an electric razor going by.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because those motors are running at over 10,000 RPM, so you're up there. So same thing with electric motors.
So it'll be a change. I don't know if they're going to get to it as quickly as they want to, just because of the length of the races and how far the batteries can actually take you. It was very weird watching an electric open wheel race a few weeks ago and all the stuff that they were keeping track of on screen. Because the nice thing with these cars, or the horrible thing, depending how you look at it, is everything that happens in the car now, they have a sensor, and the television people have access to a bunch of that. And with the electric ones, they had, for the race, however long the race was, they have 3 like super boost. Like, imagine you're playing a video game.
I can imagine that.
You can hit the super boost and you get like a super boost for 30 seconds. You only have 3 of those for the whole race, and everybody only gets 3. But that's part of the strategy, is having a super boost. And I'm like, that's just weird.
Now, is that a nitrous injection, or what?
Well, I wouldn't think so, because it's electric. I bet you it's just unleashing more of the. It's just unleashing more of the power.
Right. Now, how long until the fans get to control the super boost?
See, that would be great. If you could just be like, okay, this guy's being an asshole on the track, I'm going to turn his super boost right off. It's like the story when the White Sox way back in the 50s, where the manager was just so pissed off he decided to let the people in the stands manage the game. I can see that happening.
Did they do NASCAR at Laguna Seca?
I don't believe so, but
okay, that's just Formula One stuff.
They're doing more and more road courses, which some people love, some people hate.
Yeah, I think they're prettier to look at.
They are a different type of racing, whereas, as you know, from
turns from both directions,
which is good. That I don't mind. But as you know, from COTA out there by you, that's like a 3-mile track. It's like, for most people that are showing up to watch, you're going to see the cars for like 3 seconds as they go by. And then you won't see the rest of the track. Although it was COTA, the one that has they have like a tower you can go up on that's high enough to see the whole thing. It's like, I don't like heights, so I probably wouldn't like that.
You don't like heights?
No.
So you're tall.
Yeah. I mean, 6'6" is the perfect height to be looking down at the ground. You start getting much higher than that, I don't know about it. But I do. The road courses are definitely more entertaining. There's usually better racing, but it's a different experience. It's much better, although a lot of sports are moving this way, where it's a television sport. It's not a show up in person sport.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always been a fan of, I've liked car sports in general, but I always liked the rally sports. So watching the videos from inside the cars, or cameras just on the outside of the cars, as well as helicopters, obviously. Now that, to me, is the best way to watch racing.
Well, yeah, now they have the drones, which you can get all sorts of different angles. The drones can get a hell of a lot closer than the helicopters.
That's true. Yeah, the old helicopters used to be away from, you don't want to fly over a bunch of people.
And then
but yeah, rally races are always fun to watch, because again, the locations are beautiful.
And they're getting dirty. They're getting some airtime.
Yeah. You got 1,000 horsepower 4-wheel drive, and you're going sideways most of the time.
Which is, I mean, if you ever watch a dirt race, now those folks, they know how to control a car. When you hear the people that are professional dirt racers, and a majority of the car control they will tell you is not from steering, but from using the accelerator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah, throwing it in the corner and going.
Yeah, WRC, rally racing.
You need a car. You need to sponsor it. Put your book on there. That way you'll get a lot more people to buy it.
I had a car. I had a Subaru WRX STI that I had a guy that was actually a mechanic for one of the pro teams that worked on my car and got it tweaked out.
And when you showed up, you're like, I think that needs a new muffler. He was like, yeah, totally, Gene. Yeah, I'll do that next.
Fuck you. It's I had a lot of fun that car. I only did a few rallies myself. I was also a co-driver in the rally, but I sold that car because I knew if I didn't sell it, I would die in it.
They are not for the meek of heart.
That car enables you to do things that should not be possible in a car, and to become comfortable doing those things. And I remember one of the, it was one of the events that kind of led up to me selling that car, was I found myself from making a right turn and passing a guy in the right lane while drifting. Because I still had the momentum from the right turn, but I was already accelerating it. And I could see the look on this guy's face as there's a car that is passing him in the left lane that is actually pointing at his car.
He's like, this doesn't look right.
That was not a look. That was a look of what the fuck, holy shit, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And, if he would have acted slightly unpredictably, we both could have been dead.
Well, this is it.
And that's just one of many of such similar events.
You know that you have the control, but you don't know what somebody else is going to do, right. And that's the X factor there.
Yeah.
I mean, we went out to dinner with my brother-in-law a couple of years ago, and he was driving, and we pulled into this parking lot, and there were a couple different areas that were connected, and the one area was full, and he saw a spot, and he just pops this thing in reverse and goes full bore all the way further in reverse than I would have wanted to go into the parking space. And
that's not good.
Well, he's been driving a UPS truck for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I'm I guess driving a car is you know what you're doing, or it's mainly, I think, being comfortable with it, as you just said. Maybe that's the dangerous part. You put a lot of faith into the fact that you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always great until something goes poorly.
Mm-hmm.
It's it all depends what you're used to. If you're used to going balls to the wall through a corner, drifting, then you have control of the car. Now, somebody that's never been in a car that's drifted before, that starts happening, and they go, whoa! And they take their foot off the gas, and that's when they die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But it makes the racing part fun. That's for sure. I'm not 100% a fan of when they take these big 3,200-pound stock cars and put them on dirt like they do in Bristol now for NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely makes for some entertaining watching.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's great racing, but it's entertaining watching.
I think it's what everybody loved watching Top Gear's completely crazy races.
Yeah, go try to do something that nobody else has ever done. Go to one of the most dangerous races. I remember hearing about this when we were in Colorado when I was 10, the Pikes Peak climb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think they still do it.
They do it. Yeah. And I remember Audi used to do very well in that.
And a lot of people die when you're racing up a mountain because you got to stay on the track. You got to stay on the road.
A lot is a relative term, but yeah.
More than other races, we shall say.
Some people die for sure.
Pikes Peak, what's it called? Climb, race, dead. Is that?
You probably just do Pikes Peak dead.
Well, there's a lot of people that probably die for various reasons up there. Let's see here. Oh, I guess 7 deaths.
The Pikes Peak International Hill Climb.
Associated with the Broadmoor. Yeah, that's where I was staying when I was 10.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe a few deaths a year.
Yeah, not too bad. Maybe only 7 overall. I mean, it seems like it should be more.
As of 2020, I think there's more after that. But yeah, that's the thing is I think there's a lot more accidents than people die. Not every accident is a death.
True. You could just roll your car down a mountain.
Watch that race, especially from a drone. It is insane because there's about 9 feet of road with a steep drop-off ledge and no guard on the edge. And if you just miscalculate your car's momentum a little bit, at least one of your wheels is going to be in the air.
Yes.
And it's also obviously the race is uphill. So that adds to the, I mean, in some ways it's great because it slows down the speeds. Imagine doing that race downhill. You'd have a lot more deaths.
Oh yeah.
But it's uphill. And so it's a serious workout on the cars.
Yeah. You got to make those things so they last. That's the hard part. Now
and you got to have a turbo. Otherwise you're not breathing enough oxygen in.
I have no name in the troll room using Brave AI says, as of June 9th, 2023, there have been 6 recorded deaths at Pikes Peak, including 2 drivers, 3 motorcyclists, and 1 race official.
Oh, official.
That's you had to be in a very unlucky place at a very unlucky time or something for that to happen.
Yeah.
The altitude that gets you.
Yeah. I didn't even notice, but you're right. Brave inserted an AI into their thing too. This is hilarious.
And I have not tried that. I've been using Brave, have not even noticed that.
I've been using Neva, and they're shutting down.
But the Adobe thing, I'm telling you, that is really bizarre technology. It just blows my mind. It's one of those things where it used to be, back in the day, you'd get like a new computer game or something, and time would just fly by, and you're like, "Holy shit, was I doing that for 4 hours?"
Mm-hmm.
Just messing around with this is the same kind of a thing for me because you can just select random things in a picture. You can tell it to put different things there. And it does it in a way that most of the time, right off the bat, just works. And for the times that it doesn't, you generate it a few more times and it does. And it's weird because sometimes it tells me I can't do things because it violates their terms of service. And other times it just kind of ignores it.
Did I get pork chops?
Do you want to get pork chops? Are you ordering your food?
No, I'm just doing my shopping.
It's been a while since I've had pork chops. I had some air fryer chicken yesterday. Delicious.
That's always good, though. You can't screw that up.
It's hard to. I mean, now that once you throw a breading on the chicken, and I like just taking it. Some people like, just put it through a little bit of egg. I like to just take a little bit of mayo, lightly coat the chicken breast, put it into the breading, and then you throw that into the air fryer. And once the outside starts getting a little bit crispy, you know that the inside will be more than done. The pork chops, that sounds good. I could do a pork chop.
I like the really super thin ones.
Well, they cook quicker.
So I kind of make a hybrid a schnitzel out of them.
Oh, a good old pork schnitzel. I've been addicted to some shawarma lately. I've never had shawarma in my life.
Yeah, shawarma is pretty good. I like chicken more than beef, though.
Really? I haven't tried the chicken yet. I've tried the beef with pickles. The pickles make it. I like the beef with the pickles and the rice. We get them in a bowl. I mean, you could also do it wrapped up in the pita, but they make a good shawarma bowl. Was not something I was all that familiar with, but delicious. But have you noticed taurine is everywhere in the news now?
Oh yeah, I have.
Like, holy crap! I start taking this stuff like 2 or 3 months ago. All of a sudden, boom.
But you probably noticed it more since you started taking it, I would imagine.
Well, of course, because it's like otherwise I was like, why? And it's always in the articles because the media sucks. Like a well-known energy drink ingredient And it's like, well, it may be that I don't drink energy drinks, so I would have never paid any attention to that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the whole point of the thing there. What's that drink called?
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
It gives you wings.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Such a stupid tag too, and yet we both remembered it.
Yeah, and they're keeping it. I mean, they've kept it for years. I
think it's very insensitive to people that don't have wings.
Well, and it's also for the people that their hearts explode because they drink too much of it. I mean,
taurine can do that.
They don't want to give you the tagline of Red Bull. It'll give you cardiac arrest. That's less of a selling tagline.
Yeah, I could see that being not a horribly popular tagline for buyers.
But at least the taurine's not the part that makes your heart go nuts in the energy drinks. And I was looking because like the United States, like always, they are behind on looking into any of these things. They just put you're on your own. If you want to take a supplement, you're on your own. But it looked like the European Union, they were like, between 4 and 6 grams a day of taurine are safe, which I've been taking like 4.
That's grams? That's a lot. I don't even take 1 gram.
Let's say 1,000 milligrams tablets. I pop 2 of those babies in the morning, 1 sometimes during the day and 1 at night before going to bed.
Wow.
The palpitations have disappeared, though. So there's that.
Oh, that's got to be it then.
That was where doing the research, that's where I found the taurine was like, well, in a study.
Yeah, but do you not eat any foods at all that have taurine in them?
Well, I'm sure I do. I mean, it's in meat and seafood. So
yeah, because I eat usually a salmon fillet every day.
I hate salmon. I would like,
really?
You know what? I haven't tried it in a while. It's been a while. Because everybody's like, salmon is great. A good salmon, you can't beat it. I'm like,
One of the best fish.
I'm not really a big fish fan. That maybe is the problem.
You could get it smoked. You can get it filleted, so you can cook it on your grill. You can do all kinds of stuff. Yesterday, I was at a sushi place, so I ate a ton of raw salmon.
And you stayed up all night. You see, maybe that's the reason.
I don't think that's why. I probably drank too much tea is probably why.
That could do it.
I would imagine. But I went to the only, this is surprising, that's the only one, but the only sushi place in Austin that has a, what do you call those things? It's not an escalator, it's a conveyor belt.
Oh, you want the one where the food just comes to you automatically.
Yeah, exactly. So the food all just kind of drives by you on the conveyor and you grab whatever you want. And then the drinks are brought to you by a robot.
Now, somebody just watching you very carefully to know what you have to be charged at the end of this meal?
Kind of. So all the food is on little plates and there's a slot on the end of your table, on the end of your booth, where you put in the plates when you're done with them.
And each plate is a charge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you just get rid of the plates, you're in good shape.
Yeah, if you take the plates with you, then it's free.
You're like, I didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have a place like that here. Now it's a Mexican joint, but it used to be a kids kind of restaurant that had a train that delivered your food. That was the big thing. Kind of you could have your hot dog and fries delivered by a train, kids. It just went around the table. Simpler times, I guess.
Seaweed has a lot of taurine in it.
See, another thing that I don't eat would be seaweed.
How do you not eat seaweed, man?
There's a lot of things I'm okay with not eating.
Yeah. So sushi has 1.3 grams of taurine per 100 grams.
You see? So it's no big deal to be taking 3 or 4
really
grams a day.
I probably had like half a pound of it last night then. Had 22 plates of sushi.
The Ice Cube Soup says he takes 1 to 10 grams of taurine a day and uses it in his sleeping potion.
Wow.
What's in that sleeping potion?
Okay, now we need to hear about that because at least one of us wasn't sleeping last night. Could use something.
Yeah, you need that. The wife has the same problem. I rarely have trouble getting to sleep. I mean, that's almost never where I run into problems every now and then is, getting up to pee at like 4 a.m. and then it's like, you're not falling back asleep. That's more of an issue. Otherwise, I'm the guy that, especially now that, one, it's getting warmer. 2, been doing at least an hour on the bike every day. I'm the guy now that like 9:30 is like,
Jesus.
I know. It's hell being old, man.
No, that's good. I mean, I might do that like immediately after dinner time and then take a nap for a couple hours. Then I'm back awake after that. So this guy I had sushi with is a guy used to work for me back in the 90s, believe it or not. So it's back when I had my software company. And so he ended up moving to Austin like 5 years after I did, I think. And so we try to catch up like once or twice a year. We'll get together for lunch.
Yeah, most of Gene's friends, they like to catch up at least once every year or two.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Now, you and I haven't gotten to the point where we would refer to each other as friends yet, so we haven't really gotten together for lunch yet.
I'm understanding that too much Gene is way more dangerous than too much taurine.
Gene has a lot of friends, so Gene's got to moderate his meeting up with them.
Gene's got to slice himself a little thinner.
Yes, there's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, you can make it yourself. I don't get. Hey, wait, we don't do everything for you here on Unrelenting.
No. Yes, exactly. You want to laugh during the show? Make a joke. But I'm exactly. So it was pretty good stuff, though. I enjoy it. I don't think the sushi is as good, obviously, in the conveyor belt sushi place as it is in the sit-down sushi places. And I usually like to sit right at the sushi bar and
tell the guy what you want.
Yeah, I'd tell him how to make it and stuff. Yeah,
because they sushi chef. Well, sushi.
Oh, they love when you tell them what to do. Yeah,
yeah. All chefs like when you tell them they're wrong.
In fact, this same dude that we got together for sushi now about 9 months ago to a year. We got together at a different sushi place. And I happened to that particular time. I know you're going to be shocked. I had ordered all the sushi that I had ordered was off the menu.
Oh, they love that too.
It wasn't at all on the menu. Every single bit of sushi was a custom order. And yeah, they really enjoy that. I mean, I kind of, the waiter said, "No, I'm sorry, we can't do that." And I said, "Well, let's go talk to the head chef, huh?"
You're like, "I bet you he knows how to make this."
And I said, "No, this waiter tells me you don't know how to make sushi that I would like."
Wait, I like that. I like that. The waiter says you're not really good at your job. So,
So how about I give you his tip instead, and you prove to him that you're capable of making custom sushi as per my request. And he was totally up for it. And so he, I think, very, very happily took the challenge up to make sushi that he'd never made before.
Nice. Now, Ryan Bemrose does want some clarification if everybody that has sushi with you is your friend.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I would only have sushi with somebody who's a friend because, and I can tell you why. Sushi is one of the easiest foods to get poisoned from. And so if you happen to be on the list of people who I've partaken sushi with, that means there's a certain level of trust that exists.
You guys are having like a death pact.
Yeah, exactly.
We go out, we're going out together.
And well, you know why Brian's asking this.
Oh, yeah. Because you've shared some sushi with him.
Yeah, exactly.
But to be fair, neither one of you paid for it.
That's
so I don't
true.
know.
We both managed not to pay.
You two are podcasters, totally through and through.
Well, and I didn't really pay for the sushi yesterday either.
See, there you go.
So I guess that's my other rule: is going to sushi and having other people pay for it.
Well, especially when you're going for the off the menu expensive stuff.
Yeah,
nothing better.
But I didn't necessarily say expensive. I just said off the menu.
Now, Ice Cube Soup has his sleeping potion listed, which is 1 milligram of melatonin,
Okay,
500 milligrams of niacinamide.
Don't know what that is.
Niacinamide. Yeah, cinnamide.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a big one. 100 milligrams of L-theanine. Oh, yeah, I got that stuff too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
750 milligrams of GABA, G-A-B-A.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
1,000 milligrams of glycine. And
Okay.
generally a scoop of taurine powder, about 2,000 milligrams. Use as much taurine as you want.
And you don't have valerian root in there? What the hell kind of sleeping potion is this?
You guys should get together. You can come up with that.
I love valerian root.
Now, Bemrose says his sleeping potion is just an ethanol and barley solution.
Yeah, I don't do those anymore.
Gene is on the no drink November for like 2.5 November years. It's been a while.
I can tell you exactly how it's been. It's been not quite 18 months of no drinking.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's probably been about close to that for me too. Although I've never been I won't say never been a big drinker because I worked retail and those things seem to go together. But after quitting working retail, no, that was that was the night before we went to pick up, I think, the engagement ring for the wife.
Mm-hmm.
Went out with a buddy after working
last time you had a drink
at Circuit City. No, it should have been though, because we couldn't even figure. We were just trying to guess how many drinks were had. We went to a bar, like a sports bar, after the shift, and which I don't think I've ever drank since, which would be SoCo and orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think probably had like 15 of those. Yeah. I mean, it was a lot. It was.
Are you a fan of the Southern Comfort?
Probably not since then. I haven't had much, but I mean, I don't mind.
One of my favorite drinks that I drank a lot after I went to bartender school was Alabama Slammers.
Ah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's in that?
Alabama Slammer.
There you go. Without looking it up.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking it up. I know it's got Slow Gin, it's got Southern Comfort, and it's got something that starts with an A. I don't think it's amaretto. Maybe it is amaretto.
Could be amaretto if it's sweet.
But I remember the hint for it for an Alabama Slammer was ass.
There you go. Because you want to slam that ass.
That's right. As one does.
But pretty much since the, especially since the arrhythmia started last year, and that's when the cardiologists are just like, yeah, because you were like, oh, you shouldn't even be drinking any caffeine. And he's like, yeah, I don't care about the caffeine, but the booze, no, don't do alcohol. That's way worse.
I mean, I would not fully agree with that assessment. I think the alcohol is worse in the long run sense. Like it has both effects on your brain and on your heart.
Right.
But caffeine has an immediate effect on your brain controlling your heart. And cessation of caffeine is a very quick and easy way to determine the impact, where sustaining drinking of alcohol is not going to give you an immediate result. So I think, I said it back then. I'm sticking to it.
You're sticking with your theory.
I'm sticking to it that I think that if you're experiencing negative effects, something's changed for the worse that you're concerned about, removing caffeine for a couple of week period to see what effect it has seems like a no-brainer.
Oh, that makes sense. And I have cut down. I'm down to like 2 or 3 a day.
2 or 3 shots? Or what do you drink caffeine in? What format?
Coffee. So, I mean, it's just, you're literally coming out of the Keurig.
Ah, yes.
And so it's definitely.
I remember a time when I used to buy caffeine in powder form.
Oh, yeah. I remember when Balls came out. The first, that was the first energy drink. It was totally aimed at gamers.
they weren't referred to as energy drinks.
No, but it was the precursor of them.
No, but I'm going back further here to the 80s. We had what was that thing called? I'm picturing a Jolt.
Oh, right, Jolt Cola, baby. All where the flavor, twice the caffeine.
All the sugar and twice the caffeine. That was their tagline.
Uh-huh.
Imagine getting away with a tagline like that today.
Be a lot harder.
Now you'd have to say Jolt energy drink, all the cola and twice the caffeine.
Right.
And actually, I think it was the other way around. I think it was twice the sugar and all the caffeine allowed by law.
Yeah, it was a lot of caffeine.
I think that's what it was, because it was more than double the caffeine of regular colas. And it was the double sugar and all the caffeine. And it's not something you would drink every day, but I certainly bought plenty of Jolt. Thanks, Jolt. Now I have fucking diabetes because of you.
Right, it's their fault. And you were a little fidgety too, obviously.
I'm probably more fidgety, but you see, back when we were youths, being fidgety was not considered a sign of mental retardation the way it is today.
Well, they definitely look at things a lot differently.
Yeah. Like, being fidgety just means you're bored. Where now, if you have a kid that's fidgety, you got to put them on some heavy-duty narcotic type drugs.
That's what they want, because that's where the big money is.
Yeah, put 5-year-olds on Ritalin these days.
Well, yeah, because they need to be. I mean, that's it. That's the nefarious portion. How could you
possibly deal with the 5-year-old unless they're Ritalinites?
Uh-huh. Well,
disgusting.
And then if you're a 6-year-old boy gets up one day and puts on your earrings, mom, then of course he's trans.
Oh yeah, that's a girl for sure.
You got to take care of these
putting
things.
Earrings on's got to be a girl.
Yeah, you got to medically handle these things as quick as you possibly can.
Yeah, if you don't castrate your kids, then you're a bad parent.
Yeah, you're not trying to even be a good parent at that point.
Oh shit, I think I just overtipped. Fuck.
Wait, what do you mean?
I took the default tip. I forgot to put it at 0. God damn it.
Wait, what? Okay, so what is now this is ordering from a grocery store, or are you ordering lunch?
Yeah, grocery store.
And what is this? Because the tipping culture has gotten out of control.
Oh, dude, yesterday, this is a perfect example. Yesterday, after the sushi, stopped at a boba place. A couple of white chicks working there, hardly working as usual. So a girl comes over to the register, and I give her my order. Pushes 3 buttons in the machine. My buddy gives his order, pushes another button because he just basically duplicated my order. So there's a quantity of 2. Hits a button to do the price, which was $12 for 2 freaking drinks. And then she asked me with a straight face, and would you like to include a $3 tip on this? And I was like, no. Tip for what? I gave you the ingredients that I want in there. Somebody else is making it. Why the fuck would I tip her? So it's totally out of control, man. People are expecting tips for things they shouldn't be getting tips for, like food delivery.
And the amount keeps getting raised. Well, it's interesting.
The default definitely is. The defaults went from, like on Uber Eats, they went from no tip was the default, so you have to punch in a manual tip, to like having a 10% tip as default. And then it went to like 15% as the default. And now you're seeing 20% as a default.
Yeah, and if you don't offer 35, they're not even taking your order.
Now that's bullshit, because I've done these tests and I find that the only difference between putting in a default tip and no tip at all is about a 15 minutes on delivery.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's still different is enough.
Oh, it's definitely different. It's not the same for sure, but you can actually you can beat that with the system. So instead of a tip, you can do a pay for accelerated delivery on Uber.
I gotcha.
And then you get as fast a delivery as if you gave a good tip, but for only $3.
They're not calling it a tip, though. It's express delivery.
It is express delivery. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's not a tip.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I did my stint working as a pizza delivery guy when I was in high school.
And you don't, I mean, you believe that the pizza guy should get something, but this
I've always given the pizza guy $2, no matter what.
See, I've always, well, not always, because it's a smaller sampling from the last few years. I'm up to $5 no matter what for a pizza. Now, I don't care.
How much are you paying for a pizza? Let's start with that.
Well, most of the time, up until recently,
yeah.
I mean, an order could be anywhere between, on average, I would say $30 to $50.
Oh, well, yeah, you should. Yeah, I was talking about like Domino's, where the pizza is
like $5. Right.
Yeah.
If the pizza is $5 and you're tipping $8, you should be ordering from a better pizza place.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's why I tip $2 or $3 or whatever.
But there's been that argument going forever between delivery versus a waiter / waitress in when you go and have a sit down meal.
Yeah.
I will, I mean, I can see the case being made for both. People want to say that the waitress in the restaurant is doing more work. That is usually true, I think, because you're coming back and forth a few times. And if you're
paying for different things, I think.
Right.
For pizza delivery, what I've always paid for, and what I think most people have, is as quick a delivery as you can get away with.
Yeah, fast is better.
Don't break laws, but get here as soon as you can, because the pizza is hot.
Get me a hot, crispy pizza.
So the car is doing the work, right? Not the driver, but the driver's in charge of how quick he gets there. So if I'm the first stop, you get a bigger tip than if it shows up an hour later and it's not hot anymore, then you get a very small tip. Now with the restaurants, I think I don't really pay for fast delivery of food. At the restaurant, what will affect the size of the tip is how attentive they are and notice things like, oh, I'm almost out of my iced tea. Maybe that should get refilled.
Oh, yeah. The drink
I've just put down the menu, so maybe you should come over now and ask me if I'm ready to order and not interrupt me while I'm talking with other people. It's basically, how good are you at your job of noticing things as a waitress?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I don't tip guys. I only tip women, so that's why I'm saying waitress.
So if it's a waiter, you're like, fuck you.
I'm sorry. If you're a waiter, you're in the wrong profession.
Gene's just writing a tip in this case. Get a new job is his tip.
That's my tip. Yes. Yeah. There's a line for that tip. I just want to get a new job.
Man,
learn to code.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious when we were going into, the wife and I, a little restaurant here weekly. And of course, that all stopped around COVID, and then everything got crazy.
Goddamn COVID.
But there was a waitress, a very cute waitress in there.
Oh, you got a tip for cute.
Yeah, well, you definitely tip for cute. And, it was one of those things where was our waitress quite a bit. Now, there was one day, I mean, I was just laughing hysterically on this one because she comes in, oh, hey, guys, how you doing? And she says to me, oh, iced tea, right? I'm like, yeah, because I always ordered an iced tea. Wife always ordered a Diet Coke. So she knew I wanted iced tea, had no idea what the wife wanted.
Oh, was there somebody there with you?
Right, exactly. Like, who's this with you? And then it came back. I mean, it was like the wife's drink or something was forgotten. And I'm like, I think she's just fucking with you or something.
Oh, that's a bigger tip, man.
Right. This just keeps going up and up and up.
I remember my ex-wife used to give me shit like that if we ended up getting a really pretty waitress. She'd be like, so she's getting a 20, right? I'm like,
at the very least.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, you're right.
Doesn't matter what we order. It's
Well, it's whatever the excessive tip amount would be. It's like when you're well above 20% for a tip. That's called a Q-tip. I remember one time I had a manager run after me out of a restaurant because we didn't leave a tip. And he caught it. It's like, oh, well, was there something wrong with the meal? What's the issue? I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you just noticed, you guys didn't leave a tip. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. So the wife was supposed to leave a cash tip.
Oh,
and I just paid for, the meal. So I blame it on her, which was very convenient. That's one thing you don't have when you're not married, and it is you don't have that immediate person to blame.
Right.
So that's one of the negatives of being single. But yeah, it's I don't know. I would not say I'm a ridiculous, outrageous tipper by any stretch. I think I'm probably average, but I don't tip everybody the same. I definitely tip some people more than others, and I tip certain experiences or services more than others. So I kind of spread it. It's a bigger range where some people are always like exactly 15 or 20%. Could be more than that for some and less than that for others. And I think that's perfectly fine.
And where they probably make up on this in the long run, I do have a bit of a disdain for the restaurants that come out with, and the latest one was the Mexican restaurant here that it's a new company, just bought the place we had been going into for years out, and the food actually better. It's great. But when they come into, they give you your check, and when you want to pay it, they just bring the little computer thing right to your table. And part of that is, one, the waitress is standing there because you've got their expensive little device. And it's like, well, you sign it, and then it has the little things that pop up. Do you want to tip 15%, 18%, 20%? And one, the waitress or waiter is standing right there. So you feel like a dick. But I feel like, as somebody who normally figured it out by, it's easy enough to do the math in my head to figure out 20%. I would always round up, most of the time, unless the service was bad. It's like, I think you're leaving shit on the table. Because if I'm, just say a 50, if it's a $55 thing, I'm like, oh, well, that's like, okay, I'll leave 12, or it's like, if you give me the exact 20%, it's probably going to be less than it would have been.
Yeah.
Because when you're writing it, you feel like idiotic.
Yeah. You want to round it. It's easier. Yeah. All right. I totally get that. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care whether they bring the thing to me or not. I don't mind saying in front of them that they're not getting a tip. Well, no, what are they going to do? I'm already done with my food.
That's not the annoyance. That's just the extra added bonus of this new, here's 15%, here's 18%, here's 20%. And I'm like, what if I was going to do 30?
20% is the lowest that they show.
Okay, that may be the new thing as well.
Would you like to do 20 or 30 or 50% tip?
Or if you like to leave 100% tip, you can just press this button here.
It's all these damn YouTubers that are making content by giving money away. I just watched one video the other night when I couldn't fall asleep. It was Mr. Beast giving away a car as a tip after a meal. And so he had his food or whatever, asked the witch, so what's the biggest tip you ever gotten? And she says,
8 inches,
$50. And amazingly, she didn't crack a sex joke. That's hilarious.
That's where I would have gone.
So I know that's totally where you would have gone. So says, $50. And he says, so you've never gotten a car as a tip? And she's like, no. So he gives her a set of keys. And she's like, but these are car keys, not a car. And he said, yep. Well, you go outside. Your car's sitting in the parking lot. And then, walks over to her new car.
As Blitz is pointing out, there are taxes involved. So did he cover those as well?
So that's a very good question. I don't know the answer to. I would imagine yes, because otherwise a lot of people would simply turn around and sell the car immediately just to pay the taxes.
But now here's the thing. With the car, there is taxes. Now, if you also pay the taxes, is you paying the taxes also more of a gift, which means you now have to pay taxes on the taxes?
You do, absolutely. Well, you have to pay income tax on the value of the car. Or no, I guess, you would. You would have to pay both income tax and sales tax on the car, and income tax on the additional cash that covers the sales tax in the car.
That's how they get you, man.
Now, we pay at least 40% of our income as tax. That's kind of the way the system's set up.
Well, yeah, that's why with selling anything now on PayPal, once you're up to the point to where PayPal is going to generate a tax form for you, you can no longer sell anything on eBay. Most people, if you're under that threshold, you're not going to get the tax.
Yeah, I think it's $600.
They try it was up last year. They threatened the 600, and then they got scared. It was back up to like $20,000 or something. They probably at some point will get to that 600.
I'm pretty sure I got a 1099 from PayPal, and I sold less than $2,000.
Well, they may have screwed you because I tried to get a tax form and I couldn't. But
you tried to get one?
Yeah, PayPal was like, it didn't qualify. Which I don't know. So I figured I figured at that point, as long as they're not sending it to the IRS, I'm probably okay. But unfortunately, I don't want those kind of hassles. And my tax guy's like, well, how much did you do? So I gave him the information and I paid.
This is on the selling your dad's used stuff.
Well, between that and all of the fucking podcasting donations that come in.
What?
Yeah.
We're getting donations? No, we're not. You're getting donations.
Yeah, I get way more donations than this show.
I was like, wait a minute. What are you even talking about donations? I don't recall any donations coming in.
I mean, I don't want to sound like the guy that's complaining that nobody donates because our buddy Dale in Australia has been doing a great job and came in last show. But it was to the point before the show began today, I was like 5 minutes before the show, I'm like, I should probably look and see if we got any donations. This is for every other show. I'm looking and I know because there's got to be a few of them. For this show, the default is now like, well, it's Gene. So nobody's going to be.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to be doing that. But I just pulled up the Get Albie account. And of course, our buddy Comic Strip Blogger is going to be our one and only donor today at like $1.
There you go.
It's like $1 split between two of us. That's
my God.
5,015 Satoshis.
I think $1 buys 3 words.
Yeah, that's pretty much, which is all he wants because it's just visit AI.cooking. That's 3 words.
Oh, son of a bitch. He did buy 3 words.
That's all he wanted. AI.cooking.
AI
news and prompt engineering tips. See, that's what I need, though, because I want to know how to make these things do what I want it to do. And
do you just need to hire somebody to do the prompts for you?
Yeah, that's true. That's why there are
a better way to do it.
For anything you need it to do, there's already people when it comes to the writing. There are very specialized
and those people don't actually do it. They just use another AI that's meant specifically for generating prompts for other AIs.
Right, that they all get that through generated.
I think it's generated. That AI is the AI that creates prompts.
The Adobe stuff is very easy to do. Once you realize that you can throw weird, extra things in there, like I made one up because CSB likes to think he's a Pomeranian dog, and I wanted to do a quick little drawn.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he doesn't think he's a Pomeranian. He is a Pomeranian.
No, a Pomeranian.
I'm pretty sure
dog,
he doesn't think he's a dog.
He's one of them little puppies things. They're very cute, very furry.
They're little puffballs.
But I added that into
Pomerania is a place. You know that, right?
No, really? Like Poland? Is that a place?
Well, I mean, you could make the argument for it. At least it's been around a long time.
Yes,
unlike Ukraine. But so I think he is from that region in Poland of Pomerania.
But I typed in poorly drawn. Pomeranian typing on keyboard, and it just spit it out like the first shot.
You got a photo of CSB?
Pretty much. And I used it for my Random Thoughts episode this week, and the CSB liked it because he retweeted that over on No Agenda Social. But the reality is when you look at what No Agenda's been doing for artwork, and for anybody that has their own podcast, if you have Adobe, it's very easy now to generate your own.
Now it is.
As long as you have an idea. Because all you have to do is type a few words in, and maybe it takes a couple button presses, but you'll get something usable.
I've never been a fan of the style of a lot of the artwork for No Agenda. Like having had a lot of photos that I've shot over the years, end up in free photo searches and stuff. I was always very conscious of copyright. And so I think
things that show up
about 5 years ago, I think that No Agenda, John Adam made a significant increase in the level of expectation that they had. But if you look at a lot of the covers from the first 6-7 years, it was like 90% stuff that somebody else clearly had done, with about 10% of tweaking on top of it to memeize it a little bit.
Right, slight change
and then
made.
Putting it on there. And like that, to me, that's not credit worthy of artwork. That's not artwork. That's tweaking. That's it's the kind of shit that I don't think would stand up in the court of law. Let's put it that way.
Now, when CSB took a picture of Melania Trump and just added 2 lines to it to show like a accentuated bosom line, I thought that was genius. And I thought that was more of I don't know if you could say parody, but it was, it was enough. And it's hard to say what is enough of a change to.
Well, I don't think it's that hard to say. I mean, does it transform the image from what it was to something different?
Well, that is where
I think Melania's biggest features are her breasts to begin with. So it's hard to say that highlighting them would significantly change the nature of the image itself.
Well, and that percentage of what is being changed is what's going to make this Adobe stuff so very interesting.
Yeah.
Because you can easily make small changes to things.
Well, but Adobe, if they're using licensed images as their base models,
they say,
and they're making tweaks,
that they have the ability.
They don't have the same level of standard. So this level of standard is only like, it only matters if you're using somebody else's material, copyrighted material, against their will.
But if you take somebody's photo and just add something to it and they don't want you using it, well, there is a certain amount of fair use, but it's all depending on, again, transformative work.
It has
what
to
that
be
really
transformative.
means.
Yeah. Or, if it's usually for text rather than photo, other than transformative, it could also be a parody is a legitimate, use of stuff. Like Saturday Night Live using actual names or places or events rather than creating fake names for everything.
Well, and there's a song called My Stick. Are you familiar with My Stick?
I'm not. I don't have kids.
There's just, I forget even what it was set to. The Amazon device was set to another song and to wake me up.
What, Alexa, you mean?
Yeah. And
Alexa, shut everything down?
Shut everything off.
Uh-huh.
And this
Alexa, stop.
This song played after it, and I'm like, that's a little weird. And I looked it up.
Uh-huh.
Because it seems if it's a song that was aimed at kids, it's a song about my stick. If you get. Now, if you go to YouTube, there's a very funny video, My Stick, Bad Lip Reading, and it's Yoda and Luke Skywalker.
The Bad Lip Reading channel has great videos.
I agree.
Yeah.
But they're taking, obviously, video footage.
That's parody. That completely falls into parody.
Yeah, does it, though?
Yeah.
Does it?
They're not doing, none of their lip readings are serious. They're all funny. That makes them parody.
Yeah. Sir Bemrose just ISO'd the, are you familiar with my stick? Yeah, that's going to show up on a hog story.
There's
the show you don't remember
speaking
doing.
Speaking of your other shows, I listened to a little bit of your other co-host there.
On purpose?
By accident.
Okay.
Yeah, I clicked on something accidentally. And all I heard was,
oh, you mean Larry?
Yeah. And I was like, God damn, I wish I understood what he was saying, because then, I could appreciate it. But I don't know how you people can hear that low a pitch. That's all I'm saying.
And you try to EQ them. You try to bring them up. It's just that natural pipes. It's hard to beat that.
Well, I mean,
you might need some hearing aids.
If you're going for it, I suppose. I probably do need hearing aids. I'm getting up there in age. I know the highest pitch that I can hear right now, I did a test recently, is just under 10,000 hertz.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the highest I can hear.
With that, because I took one of these online tests and I was way higher than that.
Were you?
Yeah.
I think I was way higher than that like a few years ago because I did a bunch of the hearing tests when Adam first got his hearing aids because he was like, "Oh, you got to check out what your hearing's like," and mine was better than I expected. But I don't think it is anymore. I think it's exactly where I expected now.
No, you're just screwed.
Well, I mean, really, is there anything that's relevant that's under 60 hertz or above 2000 hertz?
I mean, you should be able to. You should be able to hear speech.
Speech is not above 2000 hertz.
I'm just saying, if you're in that range, you should be fine to understand that. I was looking. I thought there was a hearing test somewhere.
And I have really good hearing in terms of sensitivity. It's just that the frequency range is going down.
Right, because the higher it gets.
Yeah, because those little tiny hairs inside of your ears are the first ones to fall out.
And then you can no longer hear.
Yeah, but I don't think that, again, it's like that frequency can reduce a lot without any major negative side effects, I think. I think the problem, like for what Adam's got and other people that were exposed to loud music, isn't that they're losing their high range, which they are as well, but that they lose whole bands of frequencies inside the good hearing range, like between 60 hertz and 2000 hertz.
Let's see here. I've got the hearing.
Missing a bunch of those gap, then you're going to have trouble hearing.
There's one that just keeps going up and up and up. Let's see, 4,000 hertz. Can definitely hear 5,000 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
When will this stop? That's so painful. 7,000 hertz.
Yeah.
8,000 can hear it.
You really are better off doing it through headphones, though.
I am. I got the headphones on.
Okay.
10,000. That's still painful. 11,000. Yeah. Okay, maybe about 12.5 it goes away.
I think that's about where I was like a year ago.
Damn it. No wonder I keep jacking up the high end. Like, where's that open air frequency that I want to hear so much?
Yeah, I mean, really, when you get to be your age, you shouldn't be using your ears for EQing. You should be using
You're looking at the spectral,
meter.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The spectral analysis.
Yep. Use your eyeballs. Oh, shit, you don't have those.
Right, that's the problem.
What are you down to?
I'm down.
You got to use your fingers.
Uh-huh. But you figure everybody listening to these shows are as old as we are, so they should hear exactly the same way.
Well, no, because that's the problem. Is if they're as old as we are, their hearing is way worse. Right. So you combine bad hearing with your lack of ability to hear when you're doing EQing, combined with their bad hearing on the final product, and we're in trouble.
You are listening to the Unrelenting program here on NPR. How you doing, everybody?
Well, the NPR isn't going to be that muted. They've got a very, very dry, clean sound.
Yeah, with their Neumann mics. Hello, Neumann.
Yeah. I had one of those.
That one. Oh yeah, you were trying to. I was trying to buy one of those, and then somebody offered you way more money.
Well, you were hemming and hawing, and so I sold it on eBay. But you were like, I was like, "Hey, you want it? I'm going to get rid of it on eBay." You're like, "I don't know, it's too much money. $400 that's a lot of money for a mic." It's
it's
need half price.
I know. I didn't need it though. That's the problem.
I know. I didn't either. That's why I got rid of it.
Hello, Neumann. They make good gear.
They do make good gear, and I think for virtually everybody needing to record speech, that is complete overkill.
Oh, well, as are most of the dynamic microphones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can get away with a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly add to it, and they bring other things, as we've talked about, not picking up as much room noise, being very good with plosives. That's why I like the RE20. It's very good with plosives.
Yeah.
Even with the big
like the
foam
320,
ball off.
I think it's better.
Well, yeah, but the 320, it's more plosives, although you don't have that issue because obviously you understand mic placement.
Yeah, my mic is touching my nose. That's my placement.
No.
Yeah.
So speak right in and give me a please bring pizza pronto.
Please bring pizza pronto.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. You got it at the right angle. You're not speaking right into the capsule. There's no doubt about it.
I'm 5 degrees off angle.
But how far away? How many inches?
My nose is touching the mic.
How do you do that? That doesn't make sense. How does you? Okay,
Why
now
not?
my nose is touching the mic. This is very uncomfortable.
It's not because the cushion's soft.
Oh, so you got the ball on it again.
I put the ball back on. Yeah, exactly. I just had to wash it get all the food off of it and stuff.
See, I got no ball.
Oh, well, being ballless would have some problems, I guess.
It's going to be ISO too. This is an ISO fest today.
If anyone cares.
On Unrelenting.
It is literally, I mean, I'm not physically touching it, but let me just touch it right now. Right now, I'm actually touching it. I'd say I'm probably less than 1 centimeter, my nose away from the mic. Like most of this podcast.
Right. It's how you get the proximity effect.
Yeah. It's a good effect.
That's how you get the full
and you
gene.
can't be too much off angle because then it starts sounding like this. So if I go off angle, then I sound like this.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like that.
No.
That would be bad.
But that's one of the cool things about this mic is that it's very consistent.
They are professional broadcast microphones for a reason. The RE20 is the most standard, I would believe, still in radio stations.
Absolutely. In my experience being in radio stations, it is the number one mic used by radio stations.
I think some do use the 320 now. I think some use, there's another one besides those, the RE20 and the 320 that Electro Voice makes that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
The Joe Rogan, of course, Mike Shure SM7B is popular now as well.
Everybody fucking has it. I actually have, I don't have the clips. I was going to say I've heard now 2 different podcasts of size, including the like iWatch, talking about how they bought that mic knowing nothing about mics whatsoever, purely based on it seems to be what all the YouTubers seem to be using. The people have been buying that mic because people that they watch use that mic. And so they're automatically saying, well, if I want to sound as good as this person, I need to buy this mic. And they're not totally wrong, but it's that mic, I think well, first of all, it's more expensive, but aside from the cost factor, I think it's a lot more finicky than the Electro Voice.
Oh, it's harder to drive at the very least.
Like you need a sound lifter.
Yes.
You need cloud lifter. Sorry. You need, you just, I don't know.
Hey, with all of them, I run them through the cloud lifter, even with the RE320 because I'm lazy and I don't take it out. But that means the gain that's coming from my channel strips is almost nothing.
Yeah.
But they all run I run the microphone into a cloud lifter, into my channel strip, which then goes off the channel strip to the Aphex big bottom and oral exciter, and then back into my original channel strip, and then into the Mo 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have one of those. I'm the exact opposite. I want the least possible analog at all. And so my mic is directly plugged into the Mo 2.
Oh, you want to be full digital, baby.
If somebody made a digital microphone, and I don't mean a USB mic, I'm not like an idiot here, but I mean,
well, your breathing and your sounds are analog, so there's no way to be. You just want to be converted to digital as quickly as possible.
I want and not like with a DAC or with an a digital to analog converter DAC. Yeah,
the analog to digital converter.
Add analog to digital converter.
ADC.
Sure. But if somebody comes out with a truly new method where the microphone itself, without using that converter, is outputting digital, I'd be the first guy standing there in line to buy it.
Yeah, Gene does just want to be digital himself.
I pretty much live digitally more than I live analog.
So you're going to live for years after you're dead. People aren't going to know because you're still going to be active in the Matrix.
Oh, I'm going to be in movies after I'm dead.
You and Tom Hanks are going to star in all of them together.
Yeah. We're going to do a remake of Puss Buddies.
See, I would pay to see that one. That would be quality entertainment.
And
now what was the concept? They had to, because they were living with a bunch of college girls,
they were
right?
Living in a girls' dorm.
And they had to pretend to be college girls.
They had to pretend to be college girls. And I think the deal was that they were like, the dorms were oversold or overbooked or something, and there was no space in the men's dorm. And so they didn't have the money to get an apartment. And so the only way they could do it is if they could pay dorm rates, but the only dorm that had openings was a women's dorm.
Tom Hanks was not a pretty girl. Spoilers.
No, he'd probably make a better girl now.
It was not that's what made it comedy. They were not really passable as
No, but I do think the other actor was a little more gay.
Not that that's wrong.
Nothing wrong with that.
So if we're going right back into the Seinfeld concept.
Seinfeld reference, yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Would you believe?
Still gay.
Yeah, so gay. The city of Chicago. Here is the Taylor Swift effect. For the weekend last weekend, when Taylor Swift had her 3 concerts here.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
The city of Chicago reports the largest occupancy rate ever in the history of the city of Chicago, at least however long they've been keeping track of these things. There have never been a higher percentage of hotel rooms sold at one time than during this past weekend.
That's insane.
Uh-huh.
So people actually came to the city?
Oh, yeah.
To go to a concert.
Yeah, there was like 55,000 hotel rooms booked in Chicago for the weekend on each day.
Well, what I'm interested in is how was the crime rate during those 3 days?
There was a lot of people shot. I mean, not downtown, I guess. So that
at the event?
No, that I haven't heard of.
Some drive-bys in the stadium.
I could see that. Drones again.
Drone buys.
Yeah, if you were going to cause
again
those kind of problems, those are the kind of events I think you'd. I
think you're thinking of Russia,
maybe,
where the Ukrainian Nazis are droning civilians.
Well, it sounds like there's some legitimate evidence now that the Bidens took millions of dollars from.
Yeah, how's that new news? Like that was obviously happening when it was happening.
Yeah, when he was vice president. But no, we got to cover it up. But Donald Trump, oh no, he took stuff out of the office. Oh no, Donald Trump, we got indictments. Well, now we're going to have to indict everybody else that did it, including Joey Biden, who said he took all these documents. They're by his Corvette in the garage.
Indicted, and neither's Biden's going to. It's a selective prosecution.
Well, obviously, because Trump has been indicted.
Yeah, and this is why I've said from the get-go that Trump running as the nominee is just opening the door to Democrats winning the election, because they have so much shit they can pull with him that they can't with other candidates.
Oh, they're trying, though. With the DeSantis is already there. And I know he's not a perfect candidate, but he's already been made into Trump. And you watch, they're already going after Tim Scott. How dare you say that your life is normal?
What do you think of the Indian guy?
The Indian guy, Rashashwami. What's his name? I think something like that.
I don't know which of those is better, just saying the Indian guy or completely butchering his name.
I'm closer, at least knowing.
Are you, though?
I think
I'm
so.
pretty sure he's Indian.
Right, but isn't it named like Rashashwami or something like that? Isn't that what it? I don't know. I thought that was his name. I've heard it. I mean, I'm not. I'm on Planet Rage. Larry had a clip, and somebody said something. I think it was Biden. I'm sure, probably said something wrong, and Larry wanted me to go all in on thrashing him, and I'm like, dude, I'm the inauguration guy, so I'm not staying as far away from
all
this.
You got to do, I just typed it into Google. You type the Indian guy running for president.
Google's like, we know who that is.
And they knows exactly who all, and it shows me all his links.
And his name?
Vivek.
Last name?
Ramaswamy.
Right? See, I was close.
Not even close.
Sounds close.
No, God, you're so fucking racist.
I was close.
That's not close.
I was close.
That's like saying Gene. Well,
that's how I used to say it.
I know. That's not close.
Gene. Comrade. I just say comrade that covers up all things.
That's right. Well, comrade, should we wrap things up or you got more topics?
I think the Indian guy, I wouldn't mind voting for that guy.
I like what he says. I think he's a wee bit too young at 37.
That is a little, but people keep
but
saying
he's a billionaire.
He is the anti-old
pro.
guy. I mean, instead of the 82 to 79-year-olds.
Fuck old people, man. Fuck old people. That's what I say.
Okay, now there. Okay, I thought there were a lot of good ISOs for this particular episode. I don't think anything beats that.
You like that?
For a cold opener, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get some email on that one.
I never get email. I'm like Dvorak. I get no email. Not only do I not get spam, I literally just get no email.
Well, that's helpful when you turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
You send it, you take it, you put a filter on, and you say send it into the deep
totally
hole.
Not off. Gene@sirgene.com has been on the entire time. I keep paying for that account. I get no email. Zero.
Well, folks, that's something you have to do this week for us. Go and send an email. Don't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Send it to Gene@sirgene.com. Test out that email system.
You want to do the over-under on that, on how many emails I get, if it's one or more?
Oh, wow. Okay. I think somebody just to prove you wrong will do it. So I'm guessing two people.
Two. Okay. We'll see. I think it'll be less than two.
Does it count if I send one?
Yes. That disqualifies you.
Okay. Then I can't.
Oh, man.
I can't.
But anyway, Ramaswamy, I think that everything that I've heard him say is on point. I would totally vote for him, but he's an Indian guy.
Okay, now there's another ISO. I would vote for him.
Which means that there's so many fucking racist Americans that won't vote for him that casting my vote for him the way I would love to would make no sense.
Well, Barack Obama got elected.
He wasn't Indian, was he?
No, I guess it is a different type of racism.
Yeah, he was from Nigeria.
It is not a strong field. That is the issue.
India? The Indian field?
No, the Republican National Committee's pool of people that could possibly be a presidential candidate. And I just don't see any way that it's not going to be Donald Trump.
Well, if he's in jail, it's not going to be Donald Trump.
He's not going to be in jail by that point.
And people have said that about he's not going to get indicted. Okay.
Well, the indictment's kind of irrelevant.
And do you think the people that would convict him and he'd send him to jail would be living somewhere other than the same place that the people that indicted him?
No, probably not.
Okay.
But then again, I don't think it's ever going to get to that point because, you've got the Supreme Court and all that.
They're not going to do jack shit. They wash their hands of him.
No, they do not. You watch. You'll see. I don't think there's any chance. I mean, I believe all of this stuff, and we've talked about this concept before. I think there's something to be said that this is all being done to Donald Trump in order to guarantee he is the one that gets the nomination. I think the Democrats on some level believe that Donald Trump is the most beatable candidate, but they can't make it look like they want him to be the candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this could just make him into a huge martyr. And then we're assuming that, the voting machines are going to count the way they're supposed to count and all of that. It's going to be interesting no matter what, the next presidential election.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to be wrong, but I'm still maintaining that if Trump is the guy on the ballot, that the Democrats will have another W.
But who are the Democrats going to run?
Probably Newsom.
Better than Biden, right? But I don't know.
Well, it really depends. I mean, he's probably worse than Biden on the local front. He's probably better than Biden on the international front.
Why are you sending me Ukraine news in private?
Why wouldn't I send you Ukraine news in private?
Cultivating sabotage agents inside Russia. Well, is that really a surprise?
Well, no, the surprise is where the article's from.
From CNN.
Uh-huh.
Well, Chris
It's not
Licht.
an RT article. It sounds like an RT article, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, they got rid of that Chris Licht guy now. There's another Democratic agent
I'm starting
running.
to believe this whole line about how the parties change sides during some point in history, because I'm seeing CNN and Fox doing the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Fox is going to be the most liberal of all channels before too long. And CNN keeps pushing their way to the other side.
Yeah, well, Fox is paranoid now that Tucker's got a Twitter account, so.
Yeah. Did you watch that, by the way?
I caught parts of it. I mean, he needs to get
65 million viewers on that episode.
No, the last I looked yesterday, it was over 110 million views.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Look at the video now. It's probably
it was
up
65
to
when I looked. Oh my God.
But somebody needs to send.
How do you fire somebody that gets 100 million views?
Because you totally are doing it from a standpoint that you don't like his dangerous political point of view and his influence that he can have on the next election, which obviously he's still got the influence. They're trying to sue him because him saying anything is going to be dangerous for Fox, who totally doesn't want Donald Trump, it appears. That's their whole reason for existing now.
Yeah, I think between the sheep fuckers at Fox and the pig fuckers at Project Veritas, it definitely feels like this is a coordinated attempt to stifle journalists.
Yes. Now, I will say, as you and I, who have also been talking a little bit about audio today, Tucker Carlson, what the fuck, dude? Get better audio. I mean, there's no reason for you to sound that bad when you
who's our microphone expert?
Adam Curry. Can we get Adam?
No, the other one.
Oh, Bandrew Scott.
Bandrew. What's the deal, dude? Come on, reach out to Tucker.
Yeah, get over.
You've got a legitimate channel with a legitimate operation there that makes it seem like you know something. You would easily pass through filters of messages being sent to him.
Yeah.
If you stay on topic.
And, he was just talking about how hard it is to make money and not be a sellout. Tell Tucker you want $1 million. You'll get him a really good sounding microphone. Here's what you have to do. You need. I
don't even think you would need to do that. I think you can get a reasonable amount of money from Tucker to set him up, like, 15 grand or something.
Yeah, here's what
need. And then you slap on your website that you're the guy that did his audio.
Well, I don't know if you want that kind of knowledge. See, there's a lot of people that then turn against you because Tucker is.
Are they really viewers of Bandrew's show, though?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Most, I think, are a little more rational.
And get them something other than the SM7B. Yeah. Because that's way too overused. Let's get something cool there.
Well, with Tucker, all you need is even a good lav mic, because most of these guys seem to want to use the lav.
Yeah. I'm a fan of lav mics. The problem with lav mics is that I don't generally wear a suit these days. And so.
Well, you podcast in the nude. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, I'm in a bathrobe, and the bathrobe, and
you and Bemrose.
Almost always I'm in a bathrobe when I'm recording the show. But would you say you and what?
You and Bemrose. You like to do the bathrobe thing during the show.
Okay, well, you're the one in the nude apparently because you're not wearing a bathrobe.
Well, yeah, I like it cool. Bathrobes are way too stifling.
They're soft, man. A bathrobe is the perfect outfit.
The Adidas, is it an Adidas bathrobe?
No, why do I do not have an Adidas bathrobe. Yeah. So the Adidas tracksuits are great when I'm on video because visually they're very representative.
Oh yeah, very stimulating.
Yeah, but the problem with Adidas tracksuits, just wearing them around the house, is they're fucking hot. So
like
remember,
a bathrobe.
Bathrobe is not hot. It's cotton. The Adidas tracksuits are not cotton.
What are they making them out of? Lycra or something? Yeah. Plastic wrap.
Plastic wrap. No, they're synthetic material because what they're meant for is to wick away moisture as you're exercising and to provide a protection against the cold elements. Hence, tracksuit tends to be worn when you're not engaged in running, when you're between runs on the track, which is why I wear it, you see.
That's true. The professionals take the suits off when they're going to do the thing.
Yes, because you would overheat if you ran in the suit.
As you would running in a bathrobe.
No, not at all. Bathrobe is the preferred clothing piece for most runners, I understand, because it is so light and fluffy.
You see, here's the beautiful thing. I'm going to find an image of somebody running. I'm going to put it into this new Adobe thing and select them and put bathrobe. And that could be the album art if we actually changed album art.
If you actually did some work, yes.
Yeah. Why would I want to do more work than I have to? Nobody donated today except CSB, and that was just so we could talk about his website.
Well, that's the only reason he ever does that.
And he listens, though. He listens to this show. No question about it.
I don't see a problem with what are we talking about?
CSB, listening, donating.
No, he must have a lot of free time because he does tend to consume a lot of these shows.
He does have an extensive marketing budget.
Well, no, but remember, I actually talked about how on my other podcast, I'll bet you he's not even listening. He's just paying money to have ads run. And
well, that's not a bad way to go.
And then he chimed in saying, no, I totally listen.
He might listen at 5 times speed.
I mean, that would be the preference for me if I was listening. I don't really listen to my podcast.
It's just like plugging right into the Matrix. That's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Run in the bathrobe.
That's why you want to check it out here every week when we come. Okay, this guy running in a bathrobe.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like a professional runner, and it definitely doesn't look like you. But
what do you mean? That's literally me right there.
In what, 1963?
So?
He was just a wee lad back then. Half the man that he is now.
There was a point in time where the bathrobe fit nicely without a long sash.
If I need, I don't even know if I have a bathrobe right now.
Really? I have 3.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't wear the same one every day, dude.
Well, right, because you would have to you would have to launder it.
Yeah, so you have 3 of them.
And you got to keep them big and soft and fluffy, which means you got to take extra care when you don't want to use
the secret to having a good big fluffy bathrobe is to only get white ones.
That what the dye is I could see that would affect the cotton in a negative way.
No, it's just that if you want that kind of like, if you're going to be washing them with chlorine and then using the high temperature dryer to get the fluff perfectly fluffed up, the color is going to
fade.
Yeah, it's going to start and not all at once. I've done that, and it doesn't look good. You end up throwing it away.
Looks like a tie-dye
best
robe.
off just buying. Yeah, exactly. You're best off just buying only white. Egyptian cotton, white bathrobes. That's the only way to go.
White is the only way to go. You heard it first here.
Jesus Christ.
Unrelenting.
Of course, luckily you just said it. So, yes, that is indeed a good clip of Darren being true to his belief system.
I think I was literally repeating what you just said.
That's not what I heard.
We do not see color. Hell, I could barely see light at times.
You just said we do not see what?
Color.
All I heard was Nazi. Why are you trying to promote Nazis?
No, that's in Ukraine. This show went off the rails a long time ago.
God. I can't. You're just. You've seen, I'm sure, clips of this latest thing where there was a black young boy, teenage boy, talking to what appears to be a teenage white girl on like Omegle or one of these stupid apps that just have random people talking to each other.
Which seems like such a dangerous thing to do.
Right?
Uh-huh. I mean, I remember this back in the day. What was it called? Like chat?
Party lines?
No, but the first video one there, that was when the webcam.
Yeah, you're thinking of, what is it? The masturbate roulette?
Kind of, but it was more like that wasn't what they were billing it as originally. It was like, talk to people from around the world. You'll be chosen at random. And like 9 out of 10 was some guy playing with himself. Like, who saw that coming?
Yeah, everybody.
Right.
Just like as soon as you put together a website that lets you post content for people that support you, it turns into a porn site.
Well, anytime people can post anything, it turns into a porn site.
Pretty much. It's the easiest thing to post, generally, is porn.
Why is it easier than anything else?
Because it requires literally nothing except what you already possess.
Which are loads of porn.
Doesn't even require a bathrobe, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you don't even need a damn bathrobe. It wasn't. Mm-mm. It was not meant to be a dirty thing where you just connected to. It was.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name though. I hate that. We're getting old, man.
Chat roulette. You're thinking of chat roulette, probably.
Maybe it was chat roulette.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it was. I Have No Name had that in the troll room. That might have been it.
It sounds right.
And that's basically what it was. Like,
but anyway, so this segment, or this black kid's like, it's like, well, so what are your pronouns? Asking the girl, and the girl's saying, oh, well, I'm she, her. I'll go by my pronouns. And the guy's like, oh no, that's cool. And I kind of thought about it, and I actually picked some different pronouns, and I actually use my first name as one of my pronouns, and I use her as my other pronoun. And the girl, being what you would expect a teenager, she's like, oh, that's great, So she says, well, here, let's do a little exercise where we kind of repeat each other's pronouns, and you can see this is going in a bad direction already. And so the guy says, okay, so I'll say yours, just she, her, she, her, she, her. He says, your she, her, your she, her, your she, her. Okay. And he says, no, well, I'll do mine. And then the girl says his. Oh, the guy's name is Nick. So the girl says, your, and then his first name, which is Nick, and then his other pronoun, which is her. And then she does that the second time and realizes what she's saying. And the guy's holding a camera in his hand, pointed at the computer screen with this expression of total, like, how dare you on his face. So if you still haven't gotten it, his name is Nick. His pronoun is her. Say those two just like you would she, her, and do it quickly and see what you get.
And then you'll get fired and never hold a job for the rest of your life.
Yeah, probably, because words are violence.
Well,
but I still thought it was hilarious the black guy was doing this, because this just makes it super funny.
It's the perfect setup.
Yeah, I mean, it'd still be funny if it was like a white person doing it, but it's extra funny because it's not an Indian.
Mdusha says, I'm trying my hardest to get fired. So, I mean, try that.
Yeah,
he also boosted.
You're not
33.
trying hard enough, apparently.
Right. He boosted 3333, which is appreciated. Says, can a ginger? I don't know.
Yeah, gingers are seriously getting attacked by the woke police. Almost every ginger character in a cartoon is now being replaced.
Really?
Yes. Almost every single one.
Is there too Irish? What?
No, they're just replacing him. So Little Mermaid, redhead, not anymore. There was a video I watched. That's the only one I remember. But there's a video I watched where they went through and listed like 5 different redheaded characters that have all been replaced by blacks now.
Well, that just sounds like equity to me, Gene.
Well, no, because there's fewer gingers in the world than there are black people.
Right. They're the ultimate minority.
They're super minority. There are fewer, probably, I would guess. I don't know, but I would guess there's fewer gingers in the United States than black people in the United States.
And the interesting thing about gingers is that eventually most of them will no longer be.
Well, yes, statistically they say that, although I don't think that's the case. What you have when you have red hair and white skin is you have a recessive genes from Neanderthals, because all Neanderthals had red hair. So now that we've done the genetic analysis on the fossils.
Yeah, but the gingers will eventually go gray for most.
No, that's not true.
Yes, my
most
buddy
of
Larry.
them don't make it to that age.
Larry's a ginger. Well,
yeah,
he was.
but most of them don't make it to that age.
Most die out before they're like 40.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not know that. Redheads die really early.
They're hunted illegally.
Really?
Yes. There's a whole trade in ginger pelt. And so most gingers don't ever make it to a natural age of death.
We need to do something about that.
They're endangered, but not because they're going to die out naturally. They're just being hunted
Can we start a GoFundMe?
for ginger.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a South Park episode, which was hilarious, where Cartman woke up one day and he had red hair.
Okay, wait. I
And so
just have to interject here. In the troll room, Bemrose says, how long until Darren figures out that Gene is fucking with him? It's like, how long until Bemrose realizes that I'm playing along with Gene?
Yes, Bemrose could learn a thing or two about how the theater of the mind works, I think.
Oh, you're right. Because it's like, I really think that gingers are being hunted for their
Yes.
pelts.
Yes. Yes, Bemrose, you realize you do a show with this guy, right?
He needs way more coffee. Get some coffee.
How was he awake 2 hours ago? That's what I'd like to know.
Oh, I was going to tell you this like 2 hours ago when we started the show. There is construction going on his block that's been starting at like 7 in the morning.
Oh, God. And you can't do anything about it, huh?
No.
You know, you could probably order earplugs from Amazon to have them delivered to your house.
Maybe, but it wakes his wife up, then she'll wake him up. You know how it goes. That's one of the other reasons you're not married anymore.
That is absolutely one of the reasons there's nobody to wake me up.
Uh-huh.
But you know, since I don't sleep,
Right. It's
there is that.
There's nobody to clean your house or make you a sandwich.
Well, no, there are people that clean my house and make me sandwiches. Obviously, I pay for that, and I pay a lot less than I did when I was married. I'll tell you that much. But I'm pumped.
And then when you fire them, they don't take half your stuff.
Exactly. They just steal a few things here and there.
Right. You got to, but well, that's why you have the snake. You look dangerous. If you have all the guns up on the wall, they're less likely.
I want to get a bear. I think that's my new goal.
A live bear.
Well, obviously.
I was just wanting to make sure what we were talking about here.
No, I've been watching a lot of bear videos, and I really think that that's what's missing from my life right now.
I know a lot of stuff is allowed in Texas that isn't allowed elsewhere.
Yeah, we can have bears here. It's no problem.
It's perfect. Just a pet in the backyard. Mm-hmm. That way, if an alligator comes up, you don't have to worry
I can't have them in my gated community here, but as soon as I move out of here and get myself a double wide, I'm absolutely going to get a pet bear.
So donate to this show to help Gene reach his goal.
Yeah, help me move out of my gated community into a double wide and have a pet bear.
A pet bear. Just think of the content.
I've petted a lot of bears over the years.